Okay, everybody, I'd like to welcome you back for another interview on Biz West Michigan. I'm really excited today. I've got a personal friend of mine that I've met recently through a couple of different organizations. We've got David VanderLinde from Seniors Helping Seniors, which is a pretty interesting franchise concept. He was pretty successful in business-to-business institutional sales with another great Grand Rapids company not too long ago. He is now the regional owner and executive director for Seniors Helping Seniors here in Grand Rapids in the state of Michigan. And he currently lives in Cascade with his wife Sarah and their twin children, which is Noah and Abby, which is a handful in itself. He is a Michigan State grad as well as an MBA from University of Phoenix. And a little bit of interesting information about David is he was his high school mascot at West Catholic High School, and that led to his first job as being Chuck E. Cheese. So, with that said, kind of an awkward intro there. David, welcome to Biz West Michigan.
Thanks so much for having me, Rob. Appreciate it. Great intro.
You're welcome. So, you and I met through 1048ers Net Plus. We were going through that, and which is a pretty interesting concept. I'm hoping to get Ken on the show here fairly soon. But in talking with you, with my personal experience and some other stuff with senior care and elder care, learning about your business is very interesting to me, kind of intriguing to me personally, and I thought I'd share that with everybody on the Biz West Michigan community. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about Seniors Helping Seniors, what you guys offer, and what makes you guys unique?
Absolutely. Thanks, Rob. We're a non-medical in-home care company. So our mission is to help seniors stay at home, stay out of nursing homes, and stay where they want to be, which for most seniors is in their home. And there are 50 or 60 senior care franchises that are out there, but I think what makes us interesting and unique is that we're exclusively for seniors by seniors. So everyone who works for us is a senior over the age of 50.
Okay.
So for us, it's not just about the services that we're providing, the helping with meals or transportation or light housekeeping, but it's that personal interaction. It amazes me how many seniors are truly all alone. We know a lot of people have left Michigan for other opportunities, but a lot of older people stay put in where they've been for the last 50, 60, 80 years. So we're not only helping them with what they need to stay independent, but we're matching them up with someone, so it's like they're getting a little help from a friend.
Got it. Now, I did a little bit of research on Seniors Helping Seniors, and and by the way, you have a great LinkedIn intro piece on you as well, as far as your profile. But there's a little bit of interesting background with Seniors Helping Seniors as far as the founder. Why don't you share that with us?
Yeah, Karen Yoakum is in Reading, Pennsylvania, and she started the company in 1998. Started it as a nonprofit and still runs the first Seniors Helping Seniors office as a nonprofit. And she started it because she immigrated to the U.S. Back in the 90s after she spent 14 years working with Mother Teresa. And she's a native of India. It's a very different society from here in the U.S. Over there, as parents age and need more help, they move in with their family. It happens for a lot of families here in the U.S., but I think it's harder for many families because we're so spread out. We're a much more mobile society. People finish college or their education and get opportunities and often leave, and families just get more spread out. So when she came here to the U.S., she started volunteering in nursing homes and saw so many people there that didn't want to be there. They were depressed, and in a lot of cases they didn't need to be there. They didn't need the 24/7 care of a nursing home if they would have had someone that could go up and down the stairs to do the laundry or make a meal or help with some personal grooming. They could have been at home. And she also saw that we've got a lot of very healthy, active seniors in our society. A lot of them are very giving. They've got a work ethic that's absolutely incredible. And so this is, it's a blessing, truly. They're 15 minutes early for everything. I love it. And this is a way for those seniors that are healthy and active and they're looking for a way to get out and they've got the heart of a volunteer. They can go out, do something good, help another senior, and they get to supplement their retirement income. So it's really a win-win for everyone.
Right. And I know that the kind of the senior care space and really the franchise space overall, but the senior care is definitely of interest. I mean, obviously, the baby boomers aren't going to get any younger. Kind of the oldest ones of that group are now kind of going to that space, to that time in their life. And it is a challenge. I mean, it's a tough transition both for them as well as for their family. and with health concerns and stuff like that. So unfortunately I have direct experience direct experience with that, and so I just absolutely love the whole concept, especially the senior helping senior. The funny part, you made the comment about the work ethic, and that was actually a topic of conversation in a group that I was in probably about 2 weeks ago, and that we actually said that if we could copy the gene for the hardworking gene, the work ethic, and the punctuality of the previous generation, that would be a huge benefit to the entire work group in the U.S. right now. So I couldn't agree with you more as far as your work group.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I know we're truly a family-owned business. My parents really kind of started our office here, brought myself and my sister in, and when my dad was telling me about the business, my immediate gut reaction, first response, being about 30 years old at that time, was, I don't know, Dad, you're going to have a bunch of old people working for you. They're going to be sick. They're going to be dying. And like you said, I've got 4-year-old twins. I missed more days of work last year because of everything they bring home from school and everything. And these seniors, they're healthy, and if they've got an obligation, they're going to be there, and nothing's going to keep them away.
Yep. The other cool thing is that one of the personal projects that my wife is consistently working on with family and friends and through her work now is hearing the stories and recording the stories of the people that the seniors, the people that have more history than any of us, and it's just absolutely mind blowing the stories that you can hear from this, both not only on a personal level. But I had an opportunity to sit down with a guy who was 94. This is about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. 94 years old, and truly bootstrapped his business. I mean, he literally had nothing and pulled his boots on every day and built it into a very large company. I won't say his name for the company because they actually just sold again. But just absolutely inspiring. And the crazy part is and he actually watched a couple of I talked to him not too long ago. He watched a couple of the episodes on here and said the same thing. He's like, what, the issues that everybody's dealing with, the things that they're dealing with, were the same back when he started his business back in the early 1900s, which I thought was amazing. So, or no, it was like in the 1920s is when he started his. So anyway, that's I couldn't agree with you more. So with the franchise business, you're responsible for recruiting the franchisees for Seniors Helping Seniors throughout the state of Michigan. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
So when you're doing that, how do you go about finding the franchisees? Is it them submitting information on the site, or how does the overall franchise development concept work?
I think as far as finding the right people, it's like almost any business. Your marketing and advertising and what you're doing. If only one thing worked, well, that's all you would have to do. And fortunately, we do many different things, and it's many different ways that people have found us. I know I've got 3 franchise partners that found us on social media. So they were online. Maybe they were looking for an opportunity. Maybe they weren't, but they saw something about the organization that made them want to learn more. We've been featured in Inc. and Entrepreneur and Money Magazine recently. So PR has certainly helped us. It's great when we get those. And what I'm seeing more of just in the past year is more of that word of mouth inquiry. People that they know about us because of something that's happening in the community, probably because we've got 14 offices now in Michigan that we're getting some of that. I got an inquiry last week from one person who picked up our brochure at a pharmacy in Saginaw, and another person who saw our billboard down in Ypsilanti. So
wow.
We're going to continue to advertise, but it's getting a little more challenging because we've only got about a dozen more territories in the state of Michigan that we're going to grant. And so now I'm truly looking for that needle in a haystack and the right person. And just like we're trying to find the right providers to work for us, those seniors that are loving, caring, compassionate, we're also looking for those types of franchise partners, because this is a business where you're dealing with seniors and their families. It's not just opening up a sandwich shop or a coffee shop. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, I get it. You're a lot more complexity.
Yeah, it's got to be something that you've got a personal reason for wanting to do and something that you're passionate about to be successful, because I know when I'm sitting across from a senior or their family, they can figure out pretty quickly if I'm just there because this is my business or if I'm just trying to make life better for mom or dad.
Right. And that's one of the things that I think that, obviously with the opportunity that you guys have and the business that you guys have, they've got to be passionate about it. I think that's the case for anybody that's going to go into a franchise. I mean, if you go into it just to make money, which is obviously the benefit of. I mean, any business exists to increase the wealth of the owners, right? That's the entire point. However, from personal experience, if you're not into it, if you're not all in, and believe in what you do, whether that's a franchise or an employee or a company that you're going to start on your own, you're going to have some issues. So I would assume that you guys are kind of the same boat. So as far as the franchisees that you guys have, what kind of demographically? I mean, obviously you're seniors helping seniors. David, you ain't a senior.
Yeah.
What does your demographic look like?
It's amazing. There's even a little bit more diversity than you might expect there. My little sister, who's 5 years younger than me, she actually operates our franchise here in Grand Rapids, and
Okay.
she just turned 30. So she's not a senior, but she worked in the Alzheimer's ward of a nursing home for 7 years, and she loves seniors, and she's passionate about seniors, and she lets everyone know that, no, I'm not a senior, but everyone who works for us is.
Right.
I'd say most of my franchise partners are in the 40 to 50 to 60-year-old range. Probably the average is right around 50. Most of them have some personal caregiving experience. Most cases it's for, a parent.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen maybe what not the ideal care is like, and they've had some of that personal firsthand experience. I know our very first franchise partners in Michigan here who opened 4 years ago, they had a situation where both the husband and the wife, they had aging parents who were starting to have issues, and they went through a couple companies that weren't providing good care, and Bob literally Googled seniors helping seniors because that's what he wanted, and called Kieran back at our home office in Pennsylvania, and we didn't have anything in Michigan, and obviously they thought that this was so needed in their community that they started our first franchise here in Michigan.
Very cool. Now, overall, from a franchise standpoint, what have you seen kind of happening in that space? I mean, obviously, when the economy's down and people lose their jobs, obviously they kind of start looking around, maybe looking at a franchise opportunity. How do you see that space kind of working right now? Obviously, you're in it, so do you still see that being prevalent? Is it I don't want to say cleaning up, but is there more people that are more serious business owners out there looking?
I think so. I think there's a lot of people that they've left either by choice or not their choice. They've left a job or a career, but a lot of them they've built up some equity, or they've built up some savings where they've got the ability to invest in a business. And a lot of people, they don't want to go back to having a job. Especially like I said, our average partner being about 50, they've had a job. They've been in the workforce. They've got that experience. But I think a lot of them, especially those that maybe they've been let go after 20 or 30 years with the same company, they don't want to go through that again.
Right.
And they've had enough life experience to want to do something and be their own boss. And with any franchise, the good thing is that it is your own business, and you've got your business, and you're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself.
Right. So, so with you guys, I mean, how long has Seniors Helping Seniors been around? You said how long have they been a franchise opportunity?
Well, Kieran started the nonprofit in 1998, but she didn't have any visions of this being a franchise when she first started it. It was just a nonprofit to help the seniors in her community.
Oh, right.
And she did this for 7 years before she went to her husband Philip and said, this is bigger than me. We're going to take this all across the country. And they spent a year putting together our operations manual, and then in 2006 decided to start franchising nationally. And in that first year, they granted 7 franchises, and basically now for the past 5 years, we've been doubling every year. And
Wow.
so we're right around 200 franchises now across the country, and at the International Franchise Expo in New York City this summer, we actually announced that we're expanding internationally this year.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
So what about you? Are you going to take on additional territories? Or are you just going to keep with Michigan, or what's your plan? Or do you not want to share that?
You know what? Right now, my focus is really here. This is home for me. Before Seniors Helping Seniors, I worked for another local manufacturing company, and I was the VP of International Sales. So I've done all of the travel and been overseas, and now that I've got the kids, frankly, I think that just going to Detroit for a night or two is enough travel for this guy.
Yeah, the crazy part is with travel is sometimes, regardless of where you are, it's you could have just as easily spent 4 days in a conference room in Detroit. Or my joke is that I'd spend time in Toledo, and when I was actually in these beautiful places in San Diego or Vancouver or wherever I traveled, you're a conference room is a conference room is a conference room. So the glamour has a tendency to fall off just a little.
Yes, it does.
So obviously you guys are growing. It sounds like you're going to have about 25 offices within the state of Michigan. Is that right?
Probably right around 30 is where we'll about max out.
Okay. But you're doing that pretty fast. So you guys are obviously doing something right, and there's something right about either the franchise opportunity or the business model. Can you really pinpoint it? I mean, obviously, Seniors Helping Seniors is your organization. You can say it's the best opportunity, but is it the economy? Is it the business opportunity overall? Is it the market? What do you think it is?
I think the market does have a lot to do with it. I mean, you've got 10,000 people a day turning 65 now that the boomers are here and they are aging. But I think part of it is what we're doing too, and in that we always say we're looking for partners who want to do good and make money.
Right.
And I think that's really been the key to our success. If it was anyone who had the financial wherewithal to buy a business, they could buy, a Seniors Helping Seniors franchise, we probably wouldn't have any territory left in Michigan.
Right.
We'd lose that brand and that identity that I think has made us very special. And so for us, it's all about, growth is great and good, but I think it's happening because of who we are, and it's not our goal to have all of the areas granted right away, but finding the right people. And if that takes 5 years, so be it.
Right.
I want it to be the right partner so that we can protect this brand that we have built and is successful.
So if somebody's really looking at a franchise opportunity, and obviously you went through this process a couple years ago or a few years ago when you kind of took over the state and bought the overall rights to that, what kind of advice would you give them as far as due diligence or maybe a little bit of insight into that process?
Talk to existing franchise partners in any organization. After you learn a little bit, enough so that you can ask good questions about for them. How has the training been? How has the support? What are you doing financially? Where do you see yourself in 3 years? So talking to those people that are part of the franchise system, and then I think more than anything, just making sure it's the right opportunity for you. Make sure it's something that you're passionate about, that you want to do every day. Right. If you're doing what you love, it's not work. It's what you're passionate about. So whatever that is, do your due diligence. Talk to the people that are out there. Look at the market and look at where you would see yourself with this opportunity in 5 years.
Absolutely great advice. All right, so here's the hook question, and you've got your chair moving around, so we can watch you literally squirm. But okay, so you've been in business. You were in kind of B2B sales with the other company, and we can say their name. It's Envirotronics, right?
Yep.
If you had one thing that you could do over, one mistake that you've made that you think has been kind of defining as far as what's allowed you to be successful, or you could do one thing over, what would it be?
That's a great question. And you always know more, in hindsight or retrospect. We dove right into this, not really knowing what we were doing. I think we've got a fairly good handle on it now after a few years. The great thing about a franchise and this company, it's very process driven. There's literally a process for everything. It's a 3,000-page manual, and maybe it's all electronic now, so it's not that bad. You can find things. Maybe partly it's just my age, being a little bit younger, and coming from a different background, but almost every mistake I think that we had early on is because I thought I knew a better way. And I realized there's a reason that this has been documented. There's a reason there's a process for it. And 9 times out of 10, when I tried to do something differently, I came right back, read the process, and when I did it the right way, it worked better. So now I believe, and I think part of that was, entrepreneurs in general, they've got a lot of leadership qualities, and maybe they're stubborn and bullheaded, and they want to do things their way. And I think that can be one of the difficult things for anyone who's part of a franchise organization, because you need those leadership qualities, but you've got to be able to both be a leader and a follower. And I'm there now, but I think it took me a few years to figure that out.
That is some great information. And if more people would just understand that, and take advice and take direction where you can get it, and know that sometimes, yes, we can come up with a better way, but sometimes, rather than reinvent the wheel, look at the wheel first.
Absolutely.
Well, cool. Well, hey, I'm going to have some links to the site down below so they can get in contact with you. And if you have any other information that you kind of want to throw out there, feel free to do that. And like I said, I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing your information, your story with us. And we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks so much, Rob. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks again for watching Biz West Michigan, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.